Hello, my name is Dinesh D'Souza and I am the Director of Genesis Executive Search, one of the top recruitment agencies in the UAE. Today, we are going to understand how you prepare your CV from scratch. Before we get to that, let us see what is the difference between a CV, a cover letter, and a bio. A CV is a professional marketing document that highlights your qualifications, experience, skills, education, training, and references, and shares one simple objective to the interviewer, that is, to get an interview. A bio is a document that represents you as a person. It talks a lot about your passions, your interests, what challenges you, what motivates you, and explains the characteristics that you possess that makes you relevant for this job. Your cover letter introduces you in your experience, education, and skills to that specific job. While most companies look at your cover letter and CV alone, there is a rapidly growing interest to design and prepare a biography that highlights your credentials to the hiring manager and interviewer. Let us have a look at a sample cover letter. The sample cover letter normally contains the salutation, where you address not as a sir or madam, but address a specific person by name. So you would normally say, "Dear Mr." followed by the person's full name, or "Miss" followed by the lady's full name, or you could just use the last name. This is followed by the subject and then a quick brief as to why you find yourself the most suitable candidate for this position. This sample cover letter must highlight keywords, must highlight your professional strengths, and must be as brief and to the point as possible. A biography. This is a sample biography of myself. As explained, the biography talks a lot about your own person and what behavior, characteristics, challenges you face that help you as a person or makes you as a person suitable for this specific role. The biography also understands personality traits, and the interviewer and hiring managers are going to be very specific on reading these personality traits for this job. Now coming to your resume. Your CV is divided into two main sections, the CV header and the body of the CV. The CV header consists of your full name and contact details, a compelling CV headline, and a professional photo. While we are at the photo, I would recommend that you use again a professional photo and not a visa or a passport photo. Writing a CV headline. What is a CV headline? A CV headline is a short, compelling description in 1, 2, or 3 lines. It needs to be eye-catching and needs to be right at the top of the first page of your CV, just below your name and contact details. The CV headline must be keyword rich, it must be to the point, and it must be attention grabbing. Let us look at some examples of CV headlines. I have created 3 separate formats of a CV headline or a CV header. I have not included the photograph in any of these for now, but you would see the name, title tags, contact number, contact details, and the CV headline. The CV headline in the first example starts with a Chartered Institute of Personnel Development. The CV headline in the second example starts with result-oriented professional. A CV headline in the third example starts with enthusiastic marketing consultant. These are just examples, but you could choose or tailor-make your CV headline and your CV header to look not only as one of these 3 examples, but make it even better than these. The second section is the body of your CV. In the body of the CV, we will cover now the first area, which is career synopsis and core competencies in your CV. You can highlight this career synopsis in 3 separate sections using any one, either bullet points, and the example of the bullet point is on your screen. You could have 3 or 4 bullet points to summarize your core competencies or career synopsis. You could represent the same in a tabulated form, or you can display it in an infographic. We then move on to the work experience section. Some areas of recommendations in your work experience structure of your CV. Your work experience must be in reverse chronological order. Recruiters and hiring managers are most interested in the last 10 to 15 years or the last 3 jobs only. Jobs that you would have done 20 or 25 years ago, if you're that senior, are not going to be as relevant. Keep it to a maximum of 10 bullet points per job description. Highlight or bold one important keyword per line. Don't share too much of information in the job description. Remember, every job description must be brief, to the point, with the idea of getting an interview, and the interview is the purpose of getting a job. If you don't have work experience, focus your attention on preparing a good bio, your education, training programs and skill. Keep your CV relevant and interesting. Use product or industry specific terms. Avoid using numbers, but display these numbers as digits. So you see the 95%, the 150 and the 400,000 as numbers rather than words. You could create an achievement-based CV. Now this achievement-based CV is linked to every point of the job description. So if your job description requires you to visit clients, then an achievement-based CV will show how many client visits you have converted. So you display a number-based achievement rather than just a statement. Use words that create an impact in your job description. Words which are monotonous, like hardworking, team player, are something that you catch in every CV, but words like sales strategist or effective communicator tend to be more unique to see. List all your work experience, whether part-time or full-time. Experience is very important in the analysis of every resume. Use a good word mix in each bullet point. Your first bullet point can start with created, the second bullet point with designed, the third with accomplished, the fourth with achieved, and so on. So using a good mix of the starting words in every job description point would create a good impression. Let us look at an example of a simple job description section of a CV. So you have the employer name, you have the date on the same line, you have the job title followed by the job description. You can create a mix of the employer name, the job title, or the date on the same line, or even the date, the position, and the employer name in any order on the same or the first 2 lines. Don't forget to highlight keywords in the job description points that would catch the attention of the reader. The education section of your CV is next. Education is the second most important aspect to work experience. Qualifications, training programs and projects must be incorporated in your CV, and constant learning and growth through these programs is very important that the recruiter would review in every CV. CVs that depict education or learning 10 years ago are going to show lack of growth. Keep the education in reverse chronological order, just like your work experience. Highlight the accomplishments and don't forget to brag if you are a top student or secured a reward or recognition from your company or university. Some examples of the education section. In the education, you have 5 different criterias. You would have the qualification, which is the bachelor's degree or certification or master's degree, followed by the subject, which could be an engineering or a non-engineering related subject. You could have the university from which you graduated, the city and country, and the date. The design of the education section can even be in bullet points, or you could use an infographic to depict your education. The next section is the training, development and achievements. Every skill that you have learned or every course that you have trained must be indicated in your CV. It would be even better if you have expertise in using a particular skill for X number of years. For example, highlighting 4 years of expertise in HTML, or 5 years in MS Office, or 10 years in website development creates an impact immediately. Language skills is another subsection under training and development, and especially if you have learned a new language during your experience or education. Under training and development, you can even create an achievement-based subsection in which your career achievements and accomplishments can be highlighted. Let us look at some examples of the training and development section. Again, you could use bullet point, you could use infographic, or you could use a tabular form to depict the training and development. I have used a simple bullet form representation for easy understanding. Again, highlighting keywords in training and development would immediately catch attention, and this highlighting of keywords must be a standard norm throughout your CV. A professional interest subsection can also be created under training and developments, or you could even have a separate professional interest section. Avoid using hobbies such as watching movies or stamp collection. It is not relevant in a professional career, but highlighting sports that shows competitiveness, reading business magazines that shows political, social and economical update, reading about health shows fitness of mind and body, and trekking again shows the ability to maintain good health, and adventure. Be cautious of controversial interests, and especially interests that align more with religion. Keep your CV more humanitarian if you are talking about interest. If you are an award winner, like you have in your achievement section, then don't forget to brag about it in an awards subsection. Let's come to another important aspect of your CV design, which is gaps or short-term jobs in your CV. A lot of CVs that you see could have a gap because of unforeseen circumstances, but it is important to understand that in the eyes of the reader, there are some which are acceptable and some which are not acceptable. Progressive careers are important for you to be able to beat competition. If your job is 1 month or 2 months and you come with a lot of experience otherwise, then you may consider not to include these short jobs. However, if you are a fresh graduate, then every job is going to make a difference. You can consider using very short jobs as a training and development, but don't forget to include that in your CV. Do not misrepresent your CV or lie, because it will damage your credibility. If your position has been made redundant, because of which your career has been cut short, then don't forget to have a one-line reason for losing that job. It could be a reason as critical as someone being ill or very serious in health conditions and you had to leave your job, or it could mean that your position was made redundant due to cost cutting and no fault of yours, or you were required to relocate to another country which was out of the normal scope of work. Unavoidable career breaks such as new mothers or burnout or stress due to intensive workout, unavoidable circumstance must be explained. We must remember that long career breaks tend to be damaging to career prospects, generally speaking. However, there are a lot of exceptions from time to time. If you have lost your job, the best way to overcome it is to learn new skills, to make sure that 1, you update your skills regularly, 2, you are able to incorporate a gap fill. In other words, you have a reason to justify what you have done during the loss of a job. If you have freelance work and you have done some freelancing work, then you can incorporate that as well. Keyword utilization has been extremely critical in the design of every CV. So you must make your CV rich right from the very first CV header to the end of your CV. Every keyword is important. Every keyword in your education, in your work experience, in your skills must be highlighted, and I would recommend making it bold to catch attention. Some examples: keywords such as target or presentation if you are in sales, keywords such as balance sheet or cash flow if you are an accountant, and keywords such as SEO, SEM, backlinks if you are in digital marketing. These must be made bold in your CV and must be found multiple times by whoever searches your CV. The two ways your CV is going to be found is one, by Boolean searches, and two, by an inbuilt system ATS. These are how hiring managers and recruiters will find your CV. Formatting your CV. Keep your CV simple, professional and sellable. Use standard fonts, Arial, Times New Roman, Calibria, with a font size of anywhere between 10 and 12 would be ideal. Use a professional photo. A lot of CVs have spelling mistakes. I would suggest using a Grammarly spell check tool, which is free. Make keywords bold. You can use caps for subtitles and your name header, but avoid using caps in ordinary text through your CV. Minimize each work experience to a minimum of 5 bullet points to a maximum of 10 bullet points. Keep your CV as short as 1 page and as long as 3 pages maximum. A 2-page CV would be ideal. Make sure your page margins, your line, paragraph and word spacings are correct. Represent all numbers as digits and not words, and you can use infographic, bare minimum infographics if you are preparing a standard simple CV. If you are a designer, then your design skills must be reflected in your CV. Finally, we come to closing your CV and giving it its final touches. No need to include any references because the references will be asked at the time of your interview. Get feedback from your network on how your CV looks before you start sending it out as a job application. Do a thorough spelling and grammatical check. Keep updating your CV with every new job responsibility, every new skill or every new qualification that you have earned. Smart name your CV. I see a lot of CVs with cv.doc as the name of the CV. You may want to use a smart name such as your full name followed by the desired position. You could smart name your CV, and I would suggest using your full name followed by the position that you have last worked or applying for in that smart name to avoid any duplication of CVs and to give your CV relevant attention. Lastly, do a print review and send a test mail to yourself to ensure the formatting and alignment of your CV is correct and not distorted. 2 examples of how a simple CV would look. So you have the CV header, which consists of your name, your contact details, your personal information and your CV headline, followed by your core competencies, your professional work experience. You will see the education section and the training and development section. In the second CV, you see the CV headline, below the name, your contact details and your title tag. You have the core competencies which have been highlighted in a tabulated form. You have the work experience section which is named as career growth and work experience. So you have a quick introduction about the company and the different roles and responsibilities that you've handled within the company. You've had the education skills section and you have a short biography included in the CV, which saves you from writing a separate biography. That's the end of our session for today. Thank you very much for joining us. We at Genesis Executive Search can help you prepare a professional CV. Jobs are not going to wait for you, and neither do you want to wait for a job. Contact us immediately and have your professional CV ready in 3 to 4 working days. This is Dinesh D'Souza. Thank you so much for watching.